Hey everyone, it's Char from Char's Fashion Nation. And if you saw by that thumbnail, I was holding up some knitting that I'm working on right now. Knitting needles come in various different sizes, and I've had people request that I show a knitting tutorial of how to cast on and cast over and show the various different ways to make certain things like hats, scarves. Now you can arm knit, so we will get into that too, where you won't need several different types of knitting needles. So to show you, I try to keep my knitting needles together. Now, if you saw the video from the other day, I just went yarn shopping. I have the, not the Carn yarn, those are over there. Those are the yarn cakes, for the yarn Carn, that is. And then I have the Craft Smart that's in here. So I will teach you with the Craft Smart yarn. Now I got these little tiny yarns if you really want to be beginner and budget friendly. See if you can find these at your Dollar General, or if you have a Dollar General Market. These are $1.75 a skein. Please stop calling them a skein. You annoy me. You do that out there, people. I do not even know where they get that from. Skein. Anyway, like I was saying, knitting needles come in a variety of sizes. Now with these, because these are very thin, what I've done was I have color marked the top of them, so the actual matching ones are over here, as you can see. This right here was a gift from a friend when I started knitting, especially if you have arthritis. I have arthritis. I don't know if you can see that in my knuckles, but I do. And sometimes it just takes time to do stuff. Now, what I am just casually working on, just to use up some yarn, and we will also get into that, is yarn like fabric, like food. It all has an expiration date. Try to, excuse me, my dinner was good. That's not why we were here. And they also come in a variety, like these. Look how thin that is right now. I'm thinking if I can get the ones that are just a little bit shorter, that goes with the long tube thing, because I use these, but sometimes it's a biatch to get your knitting. Like, these are ones that I've used for knitting in the round. Now, you don't just have to use this for knitting in the round. You can also use these for making sweaters, hats, gloves, just like you can with regular knitting. So this is kind of your introduction into knitting. Try not to sneeze. Allergies. And being allergic to bullshit. So what I'm doing here is just what I've done. I know this is not the beginning point, but what I have done with this, if you can see right here where all these are, don't be afraid that those are right there. You know why? Look at that. That's why those are like that. Some people ask me, well, why is there like this little spot in your work that looks like it has a hole in it? And I will tell you why I do these sometimes. Like, I do a little skippy part, because whatever you're wearing could be too hot and you need to let that vent out. So sometimes I will do that. So when I'm doing this is not a master class. Maybe it should be. Because I've actually, and I will also be teaching some crocheting, because you can literally make yourself a sweater from knitting or crocheting. So let me go ahead and put these down, and then we will be back with me having this in the reverse to show you how to cast on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these for the sake of the camera. We will start with these. And what will we be making? I'm not sure yet, but we'll figure it out as we go, right? Because I can also show you how you can keep it in a length, and with, like the other one I just showed you, keep your lines straight as possible with that. So we'll be back with starting to show you how to cast on. What does that mean? One of these goes in my hair. If you have long hair and you keep it in a ponytail, this is an ideal place to keep your knitting needle. Now, if you don't have knitting needles and you have chopsticks or dowels, do you have dowels? Put them in a pencil sharpener and then find something to put around the end. Oh, you know, it'd work. If you can have a pencil sharpener, I'm sure you have erasers. Put the eraser at the end of it, and then you've made yourself a pair of knitting needles. There you go. Some people just suggest using chopsticks as well, as long as they're not used. So anyway, we'll be right back. So I am having to re-record this. Well, at least the second and third half of yesterday's video. This morning I woke up, and if you saw my post in the community tab about this knee, it was pretty messed up this morning. It's still not, yeah, that's gross. Anyways, we're going to cover that. So I'm sitting on my heat blanket, and we're going to continue. I told y'all, like, with all my physical disabilities, it's not going to stop me. So this is still the knitting tutorial. So what I'm going to show you is 1, 2, and I've decided to go with 2 on this one instead of 3. Normally I would do 3. Now, this is your working yarn, okay? So let's do that again. And I had to make sure that's a good angle because I'm sitting on the sofa, obviously. And so you take the tail, put that in your hand, 1, 2. Now, I'll do 3 if I'm doing a bigger garment, but I also want to make sure that I have this in the camera view. Because I've been trying to work on that. Like, okay, so tail, working yarn, right? Your working yarn, if you're right-handed, your working yarn will be on your left. Where my tattoos are is my left arm. So your tail will be on the right. So now we take the yarn. This is the working yarn, remember, and then we have the tail. Take this, twist it, and then when you come to this point, take that tail yarn and make you a loop. Now I'll do this one more time because look, that was a magic knot. It's basically what that is. Take it, twist it. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit. Just a smidgels. There we go. Okay. Again. Take it, turn it, take your tail yarn, and go like that. Now, I'm going to zoom you back out. I don't know why that went in. Anyway, it's got a case of Monday-itis. So, make sure that you have this right because you want to keep the tail yarn over here and you want to keep your working yarn over here. Okay, so this is what we do. take your knitting needle through here. Now, if you have arthritis like me, do this real quick. Crack your knuckles before you do this. Trust and believe. Now, take that tail yarn, pull it. Now, don't do this too tight. You want to make sure that there's a little give right here. Now, that's what you do. Now, this part is what I call the moral compass. And I will show you why. It is like this. It is like the moral compass. And then you take these 3 fingers, right? So we got to do the moral compass. And we take it down and make a V. You're going to go under, over, under, through. Look, we've got 2 loops. Moral compass. V. Over, under, over, under, through. We have 3 loops. Okay, now once you get to do this like me, you'll be like so quick at doing this. It'll be like, what? Now, if you have a way to slow this down and watch it back slower, feel free. Moral compass. The reason I call that is because that looks like the symbol of the moral compass in the Freemasonry. So take that like that, come down, go like that. Moral compass, bring it down. Remember, these 3 fingers back here basically hold that. I mean, like your middle finger really won't be the tightest on there until you get to a point. So you see how quickly that goes on there. Remember, like I said, don't do this too tight. You want to make sure that there's that little bit of room right there. Right there. Anyway, moral compass, bring it down to a V. Moral compass. Under, over, under, through the loop. You're using that tail yarn to tug it. Now, if you're working on a bigger project, you can indeed make your tail yarn longer. You can definitely do that. So, again, go like that. Moral compass, V, under, over, under, loop it through. I'm going to do this a couple of times. I'm tired tonight. I am in a lot of pain. I have a headache, so we might do this in parts. So we will see. Now, like I said, you might have to watch a few times, which I don't mind. And if you watch a few times, that's cool. Like Kay Lilla and Distilled, Brewed, and Reviewed, which I will leave linked. Also, Mountain Witch Christine, Makeup Addict 1992, and Barbara's Beauty Bag. Let's see, Mary Catherine Loves Cats, Mad Catster. I'll try to leave them all linked. Oh, sometimes even Rich Loves, that is. So anyway, you see what I mean about the tail yarn? The tail yarn is now like getting shorter, and you want that to happen. Don't be afraid of that either, because if you work with something longer, you would actually want to leave it there for when you finish it off, whatever project you're working on. And don't forget to scoot your yarn back as you go, because eventually you want to loosen it out like that. So check the camera and make sure I'm doing this in your view. Now, if you're like me, like I said, eventually you're just going to be going like this. It's going to become so easy for you to do. It'll be like so easy peasy that you won't even have a thought about how you're doing that. I mean, like, look how quick that casted on, right? And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish casting on, and then we will start a cast over before I'm done for the night, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, now we're back. I had to take a little short break because of my hands. And then I watched Adam Sandoval for a little bit. Like Adam Sandoval rides. He's getting ready to do like another ride across America for the anniversary, the 125th year anniversary for Harley Davidson. So anyway, it's not, we're here for this. So okay, now you're gonna take your other knitting needle and put it through the back. Now, some knitters, excuse me, that was a hair. Some knitters will take it through the front. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. And then your tail, you don't touch that anymore. You only want your working yarn. That's all you want now. Okay, so I'm not going to lean. That hurt my back. So I'm going to show you this. Now, you're going to take that working yarn. You're going to loop it. Now watch this. It's what I call the loop and scoop. You loop it, you scoop it, you bring that there. Through the back, it'll touch your index. That's where you have that yarn. You see how I have that held. Right? Now, pay really close attention when you do this, because you don't want to mess something up. Now, I've actually had that happen before when I first started, where like something wasn't kosher and ended up messing up. And I got frustrated. And then I was like, crap, maybe I don't want to do this. And then I was like, you know what? Why give up? It's a skill, right? So you will have this between your yarn. Okay, right here, you will have this bit right here between your yarn. Don't worry about that. Now, you would have to worry about it if it's all like dragging really super long. Then you to be like, what in the heck happened there? Yeah, all you would have to worry about. Now, if you did that, you should probably just drop that part of the yarn, but then it can mess up the whole thing, and then you have to recast everything and recast. It's like a bad casting call for modeling. Now, if you see how I'm just constantly doing that, okay, also when you do that, that can create that too. So just be very careful. You don't want that to be overly gappy. And that's why we want to take the yarn always. Remember to move this yarn forward as you go. Now, this will get a little twisted along the way, but you can always adjust it through the back, around, scoop, and go. Through the back, loop, scoop, bring it forward. Through the back, loop. As you're dropping this down here, you want to make sure that you're pushing the little bits forward. And then if you want, go ahead, straighten that out because you're going to need to. And then continue. Like I said, at first this gets a little tasking. But once you get that cast over on here, you're going to notice how the stitching looks different from one side to the other. And that's when we will work on this one, right? Now remember, we're just casting this over. So as you continue, that's the same thing that you will do. Now you might ask, like, when I've done other stuff and I have lines in my work, like of different colors. That's a technique I will be showing you how to cast in the other colors, and then how I will be doing those is actually an old-fashioned way of doing that. You don't have to stop and clip and tie and go in. No, you don't. Just that back, loop. When you're dropping this down, drop it to where you're scooping that in the loop, your scoopy loop, right? And this is why we do not make these too tight. That way we can just do that. And remember, like I said, scoot them as you go, because that could be a mangled mess if you don't. Now you see how far we've gotten on that? Because we've scooted some pieces forward. You go behind there, loop, drop it down. Now this is what we just looped. Remember that. This is the piece we just looped. I'm sorry I keep going off camera. Y'all just, like, the struggle is real tonight. Loop. Now, when we go to do this one, I'll bring this closer to you. In the back, loop. Now remember, we're not looping it this way. That's a different technique. Loop it this way. Now you see that right there, right on this one. That's where we've looped that. The point to that is you catch it. I don't know how good I could show you this. Catch it with the very tip of that one. And as you do that, slip that through there and scoot that loop that you had on this one forward and drop it off. Tug in the back. Bring that around. And remember, now you rub these two together when you do this. That way you catch it and release that one. It's a little catch and release. There you go. Through the back, loop, and scoop. Now I will show you this from this angle. That way you totally get it. We are still going through the back. This is the back. There's your loop. There's your scoop. And there's your scoop and drop that. Now, when we are done with this whole entire piece of something that I'm working on, that will be the whole tutorial for making this garment. That way you totally get how to make something simple. Did I say garment? It might or might not be a garment. We'll see. We will see. So remember, this is what you want to do when you're casting over. Now we've already cast it on. This is our cast over, and I will be back when I have the rest, casted over. Now, here's something that important that I want to show you at like the last few loops that you'll have on this one. I have 3 left on there. Just be very, very careful not to let them all slip off at the same time. That can actually happen, or it could potentially just flubu. Okay, so make sure that you have a hold of it proper, right? You want to make sure that you get it all proper so that you do not, absolutely do not mess that up. Now, here's the last one on here. Again, through the back, loop, scoop. Now, I'm going to put that in my hair, turn this. Now you will see that the tail yarn is all the way back here. You still don't have to worry about that because now we're working with is this. Okay, that is all we will be working with at this point, is just the working yarn. Okay, so there is a bit of a pattern that is now appearing in this. We want this pattern in there because when we do this will start to look, and I'll show you some other work. Like I said, the thing that we have right here that I'm working on, no, this is what I mean. You have to be very careful. Do you see what I mean right here? That is a giant flubu. Oh no. But you know what? Let me show you a bit of something. Be extremely. Now, I thought I had this all hooked on here right, so I'm going to show you guys something. Be extremely careful. Do not tug that as whatsoever. Do not tug it. Don't pull it. You have to take these back through these loops ever so gently. Oh my gosh, I don't know how. Wow, how in the world. Now, when I do this work and I sit it down for a moment, I am always trying to make sure that I don't have that little, that would not have been a happy accident right there. No. So this is what I mean. It's like you have got to be very diligent with your work. So let's go ahead and cast these over. So now that flubu right there was something to learn, and you have to be very extremely careful with what you're working on. Always get that back. Now, obviously, this is going to be a bigger project. That's what I mean. We will end up doing this. Now, this is the front, and I want to show you, this is how you know this is the back. You see these? Unless you want these as decorative on the front, I wouldn't want that, but that's totally you. That's up to you. I want it to be very clean line. So when you do this, like I said, oh my gosh, that could have been so ruined. That could have been very, very ruined. I don't know how that happened. But let me show you how we quickly make this so that won't happen again. Very much so. So that won't happen again. Now, if you realize I sort of tug, before I move everything up, I sort of tug my working yarn on this piece. Now, this is that Dollar General yarn. It's more of a rougher yarn, so you could actually use this for dish towel, dish rags. You could use this if you want to make some sort of kitchen mitt for washing stuff. You can actually make a washing kitchen mitt. What the heck is a kitchen? And make sure that you keep a good length of your working yarn going, because you need to make sure that that is that way. Always make sure that you push that down. Move things forward on the left. So what you're casting through, like that, it will come out different. Now, always when you're casting on and casting over. Now, I know you can see this a little bit better because the colors. I probably should have started with the blue, but oh well. It's the blue that I bought is more of a military color. I think I know why I got it. Cab unit. So that will end up like that. So this is one of my little things that I want to show you. When I'm putting this down for a little while, take your knitting needle, put it through the yarn, weave it through. Now this is not going to hurt this, I will tell you that right now. This is what is going to lock your work in place at night. Okay, and what you can do if you really are not sure about like, oh, how are we going to lock this at night? Now you can do that, okay? And then you can put that aside at night and not have to worry about it. Now, we are working with this. So I'm glad the little flubu from that actually came in. And now this shows you the pattern of what it would look like, right? But we're not putting these together, obviously. There are different kinds of yarn. So when we come back in a day or two, because I'm going to do more casting on this, and then I will show you when we add in that eggshell color, which I have it all in here. Now my Carn yarn cloud cakes, which is the two pink tones, kind of a mauvey pink and blue. Now I think I've chosen these blue colors because of military colors. I've realized that I've picked military colors, and I'm like, huh, that's very interesting. I actually chose cavalry unit colors, and maybe I still have a lot of cavalry unit left in me. Go Bravo! But yeah, this was originally a cavalry unit color. And so that's kind of cool that maybe I still have that left in me. But anyway, we will be back on a couple of days. So for now, stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive, and as always, stay blessed. And I'm going to rest my poor knee. My poor knee. And yes, I have a tattoo right there of a skull with roses, but I am going to rest this swollen knee, and I'll see you in a day or two. Actually, you'll see me in a video for the Brood Beauties collab that I'm pre-recording my video tomorrow. So yeah, I'll see you then. Bye.